Teach me to invest, Raymond! Derek Ashford's voice boomed across the boardroom. Laughter erupted from 30 investors. The black janitor looked up from his mop bucket. Yeah, you heard me right. Derek walked closer, grinning. 18 years you've been cleaning our floors. 18 years watching us make millions. So come on, teach me to invest. He held up a Technova report, then dropped it at Raymond's feet. Pick it up. Show these Wharton graduates your expertise. More laughter. Derek tossed down his Hermes tie clip. Or stick to what you actually know. Mopping. Raymond bent slowly. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. His eyes caught the numbers while gathering papers. Technova revenue, up 400%. Cash flow, negative 700%. In 6 weeks, Derek was going to lose everything, and Raymond was the only one who saw it coming. Have you ever watched someone destroy themselves while mocking you for trying to help? Venture Tech Capital occupied floors 40 through 43 of the Silverstone Tower in downtown Manhattan. $500 million under management. Technology investments. High risk, high reward. Lately, only high risk. 3 months straight of losses. $85 million gone. Companies that looked brilliant on paper collapsed in reality. CloudMax. Revolutionary cloud storage with military-grade encryption. Bankrupt in 8 months. VentureTech lost $12 million. Raymond had left an anonymous note about their accounting irregularities 6 months before the collapse. Nobody read it. Crypto Vault. Blockchain payment platform valued at $300 million. Imploded when regulators found fabricated transaction volumes. $28 million gone. Raymond sent an email warning about suspicious metrics. It went to spam. NeuralSoft. AI customer service platform. Shut down after clients discovered the AI was actually hundreds of underpaid workers in the Philippines. 17 million evaporated. Raymond tried mentioning the strange server costs to a junior analyst. Got told to mind his own business. Now Derek was doubling down. Technova. 120 million. Everything left plus borrowed capital. Win, and Derek becomes a legend. Lose, and venture tech ceases to exist. The SEC was already circling. Investor redemption requests piled higher each day. Board meetings went from quarterly to daily. Derek's solution? Bet everything on one hand. Raymond Cole had watched it all happen from the corners of rooms where nobody noticed him. He arrived every evening at 6, left at 4 a.m. 10 hours, 5 nights a week. 18 years without missing a shift, except once when his daughter Alicia had pneumonia. 52 years old, lean from labor, salt and pepper hair, hands scarred from chemicals and hard surfaces. He wore dark blue every night, name embroidered in white thread over his pocket. Most people never looked close enough to read it. His route never changed. 43rd floor executive suites first. Worked down to 40 by midnight. Trash bins, vacuum lines, bathroom fixtures, supply closets. Around 2 a.m. he'd eat his packed sandwich in the break room. Sometimes leftover rice his daughter made before catching the train to Boston. MIT, full scholarship. Mechanical engineering, junior year. Every humiliation Raymond swallowed, every warning ignored, every dismissive comment, worth it. Alicia would have the degree he never got, the respect he never earned, the voice people would actually hear. But Raymond had learned plenty in 18 years. The Wall Street Journal's executives tossed in recycling, still readable. He'd smooth them out during breaks. Analyst reports with coffee rings, full of data, projections, market analysis. Raymond absorbed everything. 6 years ago, he bought a used laptop at a pawn shop. $50. Every night after his shift, he'd hit the 24-hour diner on Lexington, order coffee, spend 2 hours on free courses, Coursera, Khan Academy, MIT OpenCourseWare, financial statement analysis, corporate valuation, modern portfolio theory. He read Benjamin Graham from the library, Warren Buffett's shareholder letters as PDFs, Michael Lewis, Ray Dalio, anyone explaining how money actually worked. His own portfolio started with $3,000. overtime savings. 15 years later, through careful picking and patient holding, it sat at $340,000, 22% annual returns. Better than most professionals. Nobody at Venture Tech knew. Why would they? He mopped their floors. But Raymond understood numbers. He recognized patterns, and he knew when something smelled wrong. Technova smelled wrong. 6 months back, Raymond first heard the name. Derek was on his phone in the executive bathroom, talking loud about this incredible AI company, revolutionary enterprise automation, billion-dollar opportunity. Raymond looked it up that night at the diner. Technova, 3 years old, valued at $2 billion in their latest round. Revenue supposedly grew 400% year over year. Fortune 500 clients, major partnerships. Looked incredible. Raymond dug deeper, found their S1 filing for the planned IPO. Public document. Most people skimmed the highlights. Raymond read every footnote. Page 47, revenue recognition note. Technova was booking entire 3-year contract values immediately. Client signs a $9 million deal? Technova counted all $9 million this quarter. Technically legal, completely misleading. Real revenue, the actual cash coming in, was maybe a third of what they reported. Raymond printed a note at the library. Left it on Derek's desk one night, the relevant page circled. Page. Next morning, Derek's assistant crumpled it without reading past the first line. "Some weirdo leaving notes," she told a coworker. 3 months ago, Raymond found it worse. Technova's cash flow statement. Operating cash flow negative $67 million. But revenue is supposedly $200 million. They were burning cash faster than earning it. That meant paying to acquire customers, deep discounts, massive incentives, making revenue look amazing while bleeding to death. Raymond created an anonymous email account, laid out his concerns carefully, attached screenshots. Subject, urgent, Technova analysis, major risks. Sent it to Venture Tech's investment team email. Spam filter caught it. Anonymous sender, external account. Auto-deleted. 1 week ago, Raymond tried face-to-face. He was emptying trash near the analyst area. Tyler, one of the young MBAs, was working late. Multiple screens showing Technova projections. Raymond hesitated, then spoke. "Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt." Tyler barely glanced up. "Yeah?" "I noticed Technova on your screen. I've been following that company. There might be concerns with their cash flow that—" "Dude." Tyler's tone sharpened. "I'm kind of busy here. This is actual financial analysis, complex stuff." "I understand, but their operating cash flow compared to reported revenue shows—" "Bro." Tyler turned fully now. "No offense, but you clean the toilets. I have a Wharton MBA. I think I can handle this." He swiveled back to his screens. Raymond stood there for 3 seconds, nodded, moved to the next desk. Next day, Tyler presented it to Derek. Technova was a strong buy. Generational opportunity. Derek authorized the full bet, $120 million. Today's board meeting was supposed to rubber stamp it. That's when Derek decided Raymond made a perfect punching bag. Now Raymond was stacking the papers Derek had thrown at his feet. The silk pocket square lay crumpled near his shoe. Catherine Morrison watched from her seat. The Goldman Sachs representative had stayed quiet during Derek's show. Now she leaned forward. "Mr. Ashford, might I ask a question?" Derek turned, still grinning. "Of course, Catherine." "How thorough was your Technova due diligence?" "Extremely. 6 months of deep analysis." "And the operating cash flow concerns?" Derek's grin flickered. "What concerns?" "Their cash burn rate is accelerating." "Temporary, normal scaling pains." Catherine's eyes shifted to Raymond, carefully stacking pages. "You're certain about their revenue recognition methodology?" Derek's jaw tightened. "Catherine, are you questioning my judgment?" "I'm questioning based on my own review." She pulled out her tablet. My team examined their S1 filing. The footnotes are troubling. Footnotes! Derek forced a laugh. We're not killing a transformational deal over accounting footnotes. We might if those footnotes show revenue overstated by a factor of 3. Silence dropped over the room. Derek's face reddened. Absurd! Technova is vetted. Their auditors signed off. Their auditors changed 6 months ago, from Deloitte to some tiny firm nobody's heard of. Smaller firms cost less, or accept creative accounting more easily. Derek slammed the table. I spent 6 months on this. My reputation is riding on this deal. We're not backing out over paranoid speculation. Catherine met his stare. Then postpone 2 weeks, do a forensic review. We don't have 2 weeks. The window closes. Other investors are moving. Let them. Derek's color went from red to purple. You'll kill this firm because you're scared? We need this win. 85 million in losses. Investors fleeing. This is our lifeline. Or our death sentence. Derek spun to the other board members. Vote now. All favoring the Technova investment as planned. Hands rose. Slowly. Reluctantly. But they rose. Fear trumped caution. Desperation beat prudence. 10 hands. Catherine stayed down. 2 abstained. Motion carries. Derek's triumph returned. Monday morning, the wire goes out. Raymond finished with the papers, turned toward his cart. Raymond. Catherine's voice stopped him. Wait. He turned back. She stood, crossing to him. Everyone watched, confused. You were looking at those financials, she said quietly. What did you see? Raymond glanced at Derek, back to Catherine. Ma'am, I'm just cleaning the staff. I don't think... I'm asking what you saw. Derek laughed. Catherine, you cannot be serious. She ignored him. Your name? Cole. Raymond Cole. Mr. Cole. You looked at those numbers for maybe 10 seconds. Then you reacted. What was it? 18 years of knowing his place fought 18 years of being right. The cash flow, Raymond said softly. Negative. Growing more negative while revenue grows positive. You caught that in 10 seconds? Yes, ma'am, it's a pattern. I've seen it before. Derek's laugh turned ugly. Seen it before? Where? In trash bags? Raymond stayed quiet. Catherine pulled out a card, extended it. I want to speak with you, privately, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Possible? Derek stepped between them. Catherine, this is insane. Consulting the janitor? Consulting someone who spotted in 10 seconds what your team missed in 6 months. She pressed the card into Raymond's palm. Goldman Sachs. Catherine Morrison, Managing Director. 9 a.m., my office. Can you make it? Raymond nodded slowly. Derek's face twisted. Meeting over, everyone out, now. Board members scattered fast. Catherine left last, paused at the door. Monday that wire goes out, she told Derek. 120 million, you better be right. She left. Derek stood alone, hands shaking. Raymond pushed his cart toward the exit. Cole, Derek's voice went low. Dangerous. You say one word to her. One word. 18 years means nothing. I will bury you. Raymond stopped. Didn't turn. Yes, sir. He left to finish his shift. Catherine Morrison's card sat in his pocket like a bomb. Drop a comment if you've ever been the smartest person in the room, but the last one anyone would hear. Raymond sat in the locker room. 2 a.m., his dinner break. Turkey sandwich, black coffee. Inside his locker door, a faded photograph. Young Raymond, maybe 19, standing in front of the New York Stock Exchange. Cheap thrift store suit. Wide smile full of hope. 33 years ago. Raymond grew up in the South Bronx. Mother died when he was 12. Father left before that. His grandmother raised him and his little sister Angela in a one-bedroom that smelled like cigarettes and boiled cabbage. Grandmother died when Raymond was 16, left him and Angela alone. He dropped out of high school, got work, any work, had to keep the lights on and Angela fed. He found a mailroom job on Wall Street, 17 years old, minimum wage, delivered mail to trading floors and executive offices. That's where it started. Raymond watched the traders, young guys in expensive shirts shouting into phones, moving millions with keystrokes. He didn't understand it, but he wanted to. During lunch breaks, he'd read discarded newspapers, Wall Street Journal, Barron's, words he didn't know, concepts that made no sense, but he kept reading. One night he met Samuel, the overnight security guard, black man, 70s, always reading thick textbooks. Corporate finance, Samuel explained when Raymond asked. You in school? Samuel smiled sadly. Was, long time ago. Studied accounting at City College. Worked as a junior accountant 15 years. Then the firm downsized, replaced experienced people with cheaper graduates. I was 52. Nobody wanted to hire a black accountant over 50. Raymond felt something break inside. That's not fair. Fair's got nothing to do with it, son. Markets don't care about fair. They care about numbers, and numbers don't lie. People do. That became Raymond's foundation. Samuel taught him during overnight shifts. How to read balance sheets, how to spot hidden debt, how to calculate real cash flow versus reported earnings. See this? Samuel would point at annual reports from recycling bins. Revenue grew 50%, but accounts receivable grew 70%. Know what that means? Raymond shook his head. They're booking sales before customers pay. Revenue looks good, but the cash isn't real yet. Maybe never will be. Raymond absorbed everything. He tried college twice, got into City University both times. The first attempt lasted 1 semester. Angela needed surgery. Insurance didn't cover it. Raymond used his tuition money for medical bills. Second try, 2 semesters. Then Angela got into a better high school. Needed clothes, transportation, SAT tutoring. Raymond withdrew again. He took the venture tech job at 34, better pay, health insurance, steady hours. Angela graduated with honors, got a scholarship to Rutgers, became a teacher, married well, 2 kids now. She called every Sunday, told him to quit, find something better. But Raymond stayed. The pay covered his apartment, left enough to invest slowly, and venture tech gave him access. Financial documents in trash bins, analyst reports, pitch decks, due diligence memos. He read everything. 18 years of self-education, 2 to 3 hours every night after his shift. The Lexington diner became his classroom. Coffee and free online courses until dawn. He developed a philosophy, built on Samuel's lessons and market reality. His motto lived on the first page of his leather notebook, careful block letters. The market rewards patience and punishes arrogance. Below it, 3 rules. Rule 1. Follow the cash flow, not the hype. Cash is the truth. Revenue can be manipulated. Rule 2. Read what they throw away. Real information hides in what people don't want you seeing. Rule 3. When everyone says yes, look for the no. Consensus is usually wrong at extremes. The notebook was Raymond's masterpiece. 18 years of observations. 340 companies analyzed. 23 bankruptcy predictions. 17 fraud detections. 81% accuracy. Better than most professional analysts. Nobody knew because nobody asked. Tonight, Raymond opened his latest entry. Technova. 6 months of research. 15 pages. The conclusion was clear. Revenue up 400% through aggressive contract front-loading and customer acquisition that destroyed profitability. Operating cash flow negative $67 million and accelerating. Customer acquisition cost $43,000. Lifetime value $18,000. They lost $25,000 per sale. Related party transactions totaling $23 million. CEO moving money through family-controlled shell companies. 80% of revenue from 3 customers. Massive concentration risk. The auditor switched from Deloitte to a small firm with questionable history. Insider selling. CEO and CFO dumped 67% of personal shares in 6 months. Raymond had seen this pattern 23 times before. Theranos, WeWork, FTX, Nikola, Lucky Coffee, all collapsed. Teknova would too. 6 to 9 months. Maybe sooner. Derek was about to wire $120 million into a dying company. Tomorrow morning, Catherine Morrison wanted to hear what Raymond knew. For the first time in 18 years, someone was actually asking. Raymond closed the notebook, finished his coffee. Samuel's words echoed across decades. Numbers don't lie. People do. The numbers on Teknova were screaming. The question was whether anyone would listen before everything burned. Raymond arrived at Goldman Sachs at 8:45. The West Street building gleamed with power and money. Security stopped him at the desk. "Meeting with Catherine Morrison," Raymond said. The guard looked him over. Thrift store jacket, scuffed shoes. "Name?" "Raymond Cole." The guard checked his computer, frowned, made a call. "There's a Raymond Cole here for Ms. Morrison." Pause. "You sure?" He hung up. 47th floor. Catherine's office had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Hudson. "Mr. Cole?" She stood, extending her hand. "Thank you for coming." They shook. Her grip was firm. "I'll be direct," Catherine said. "Yesterday you spotted a critical flaw in 10 seconds. A flaw VentureTech's entire team missed in 6 months. I want to know what else you see." Raymond hesitated. "Derek called me this morning," Catherine continued. "Threatened to pull VentureTech's business if I continued this conversation. Called you a disgruntled employee with delusions." She leaned forward. "Are you disgruntled, Mr. Cole?" "No, ma'am." "Delusional?" "No, ma'am." "Then talk to me about Teknova." Raymond took a breath. 18 years of silence fought against the numbers. "Their revenue is mostly fake," he said quietly. "They're booking 3-year contracts immediately, making sales look way bigger than they are." "You're certain?" "Footnote 17 of their S1 filing, page 47. Catherine's fingers moved across her tablet. She read. Her face darkened. "Related party transactions," Raymond continued. "CEO sold IP to the company for $15 million. The IP came from a shell corporation owned by his brother. Note 23. I cross-referenced the Delaware LLC registration. Public records." Catherine stopped, looked up. "You did corporate registry searches?" "Library computer. Free access." "What else?" "Customer concentration. 80% of revenue from 3 clients. I verified their satisfaction. 2 are planning to cancel. The 3rd wants a 50% discount or they walk." Catherine sat back. "How long did this research take you?" 6 months. Nights after my shift." She studied him for a long moment. "I'm hiring forensic accountants today. They'll need 2 weeks minimum, but Derek's wire goes out Monday, 3 days." "Then stop it." "I can't. The board voted. I have influence, not control." She paused. "Unless we prove fraud before Monday." 2 days? "You have 2 days. Present findings Monday morning. If you're wrong, you're fired and apologize publicly. If you're right, Derek kills the deal." "He'll never agree." "He will if I threaten to pull Goldman's $40 million. We're his 2nd largest investor." Raymond's throat went dry. "Ma'am, I can't lose my job. I have—" "I'll hire you," Catherine interrupted. "Monday morning, regardless of outcome, you're a junior analyst at Goldman Sachs. $80,000 a year. What do you make now?" $32,000. Her jaw tightened. $32,000 for 18 years. She walked to the window. "I've been in finance for 30 years, Mr. Cole. I've seen brilliant people, Harvard MBAs, Rhodes Scholars. But I rarely see someone who looks at numbers and just knows, the way you knew yesterday. She turned. I'm not offering charity. I'm offering you a job you should have had 20 years ago. But first, save venture tech from itself. Can you? Raymond thought of Alicia. MIT tuition. 18 years of knowing and not being heard. Yes, ma'am, Catherine smiled. Then let's make Derek very uncomfortable. 4 hours later, Raymond stood in VentureTech's main conference room. The big one. Capacity 100. 97 people sat inside. The entire investment team. All analysts, compliance, HR, IT staff, and the board. All 12 members. Catherine Morrison sat front row center. Derek Ashford stood at the podium, face red as a heart attack. This is absurd, Derek said. I will not subject my decision to a janitor's opinion. Then we pull our capital, Catherine said calmly. 40 million. Today. You can't. Check your fund documents, redemption rights, 90 days notice except in cases of gross negligence. I'm arguing both. Derek's hands shook. This is extortion. This is due diligence. A woman in front stood. Linda Chen, VentureTech's CFO, 62, 35 years in finance. I support Ms. Morrison's proposal, Linda said clearly. Derek spun. Linda, you can't be serious. I've worked here for 22 years, watched Raymond clean for 18 of them, and I've seen something nobody else has. She pulled out her phone. A photo appeared on the main screen. Raymond's leather notebook, open to financial analysis. 3 years ago, I found this during a routine check. Raymond's analysis of Cyberdyne, a company we were considering. Next slide. Raymond's notes. Dense calculations. Charts. Raymond predicted Cyberdyne would fail within 18 months. Next slide. News headline. Cyberdyne files. Chapter 11. After 18 months. We passed for other reasons, but Raymond was right. She looked at Derek. CloudMax, CryptoVault, NeuralSoft. Every failure we've had in 3 years, Raymond warned us about. We weren't listening. Silence. Derek's voice strangled. You've been spying on an employee? I've been paying attention when nobody else would. Linda turned to Raymond. Mr. Cole, I apologize. On behalf of this firm, you deserved better. Raymond stood by his cleaning cart, still in uniform. He nodded once. Catherine stood. Here are the terms. Mr. Cole gets full system access this weekend. Financial databases, industry reports, everything. He presents Monday morning 9 a.m. She looked at Derek. If his analysis shows Technova is sound, the deal proceeds. Raymond apologizes publicly and resigns. If he shows fraud, the deal is canceled. And Derek, you step down as CEO. Derek's face went purple. You're betting my career on a janitor? I'm betting $120 million on someone who's been right more than you. This is discrimination. This is your choice. Accept or Goldman walks today. And when we walk, others will ask why. Your fund collapses by Friday. Derek looked around, saw no support, only fear. His voice came quiet, defeated. Fine. Monday, 9 a.m. But when he fails, Catherine, you're done. Agreed. Catherine turned to Raymond. 48 hours, Mr. Cole. Everything you need will be available. Where should we set up? Raymond looked at his cart. At the uniform he'd worn 18 years. The conference room is fine. I work nights anyway. Catherine smiled. Then let's get started. Raymond worked through Saturday night. The conference room on floor 42 became his command center. 3 monitors, Access to Bloomberg terminals. Financial databases he'd only dreamed of using. Linda Chen brought him coffee at midnight. Set it down without a word. Just nodded and left. By Sunday morning, Raymond had built his case. 3 discoveries. Each one is damning. Together, irrefutable. Monday morning arrived cold and gray. 9 a.m. sharp. The conference room filled fast. Same crowd as Friday. 97 people. Maybe more. Word had spread. Derek sat in the back row, arms crossed, his lawyer beside him. Catherine Morrison sat front center, tablet ready. Linda Chen operated the main display screen. Raymond stood at the podium. His leather notebook is open. 18 years of knowledge about speaking. He wore the same thrift store jacket. Didn't own anything better. Didn't matter now. Thank you all for coming, Raymond began. His voice was quiet but steady. I'm going to show you 3 things about Technova. 3 reasons venture tech should not invest $120 million. He nodded to Linda. The first slide appeared. Technova's income statement. Revenue line highlighted. Revelation 1. The revenue is fake. Murmurs rippled through the room. Not all of it, Raymond continued, but most of it. Technova reports $200 million in annual revenue. Impressive 400% growth. That number appears everywhere. Press releases, investor presentations, pitch decks. He advanced the slide. But look at this. Their cash flow statement. Operating cash flow is negative $67 million. He let that sink in. Think about what that means. They claim they're selling $200 million worth of services, but they're burning $67 million in cash to do it. Revenue up, cash down. That's backwards. An analyst in the 3rd row raised his hand. Could be timing differences, payment terms. That's normal. It would be, Raymond agreed, if it was small. But this is massive. $67 million gap. So I dug deeper. Next slide. A dense page of footnotes. Page 47 of their S1 filing. Footnote 17. Revenue recognition policy. Raymond pointed to a specific paragraph. Right here. They say they recognize revenue from multi-year contracts at contract signing. A client signs a 3-year deal worth $9 million? Technova books all $9 million immediately, this quarter. Someone in the audience gasped. That's legal, Raymond said. Technically, but it's misleading. Because the client isn't paying $9 million this year, they're paying $3 million a year for 3 years, but Technova shows $9 million revenue right now. He pulled up a spreadsheet, his own analysis. I calculated their actual annual cash revenue. The money is really coming in. It's $68 million, not $200 million. Their true revenue is 1/3 of what they report. The room erupted in whispers. Derek stood. That's speculation. You can't possibly know their actual... I called their clients, Raymond said calmly. Silence. I contacted 18 companies listed in their client roster, posed as an industry researcher, asked about their Technova contracts. 12 responded. All 12 confirmed multi-year deals with annual payments, not a lump sum. He displayed a table, client names redacted, contract structures detailed. 3-year deals, 5-year deals, 1 7-year deal, all being recognized as immediate revenue. The math is clear. Real annual revenue is around $68 million. They're inflating it by 300%. Catherine was typing furiously on her tablet. Derek's face had gone pale. Raymond continued. But here's the real problem. Look at this. New slide. Customer acquisition cost analysis. To get those clients, Technova is spending $43,000 per customer. Sales commissions, marketing, free trial periods, discounts. Meh. He highlighted the lifetime value calculation. But each customer only generates $18,000 in actual profit over the contract lifetime. They're losing $25,000 on every single sale. He looked directly at Derek. The faster they grow, the faster they die. Every new client accelerates the bleeding. A junior analyst in the middle spoke up. But their investors are sophisticated. Sequoia, Andreessen Horowitz. They must have caught this. They caught it, Raymond said. That's why they're selling. He pulled up insider trading data. In the past 6 months, Technova's early investors have sold 64% of their positions, quietly, through secondary markets, not public sales, private transactions that don't require disclosure. He showed the transaction records, dated, verified. They know. They're getting out before it collapses. The room was dead quiet now. Raymond took a breath. That's a revelation one. The revenue is inflated and unsustainable. Now revelation 2, the hidden debt. New slide, Technova's balance sheet. They report $42 million in total debt. Seems manageable for a company their size. He zoomed in on a footnote. Page 53. But look at note 29. Operating lease obligations. $67 million. An accountant in the 4th row nodded. Off-balance sheet financing. Common practice. Common, yes, but combined with negative cash flow, it's deadly. Their real debt is $109 million, not $42 million. He advanced to the next analysis. Now look at this. Note 23. Related party transactions. The screen showed a complex diagram Raymond had created. Money flows between entities. Technova's CEO, David Kramer, owns a company called Quantum IP Solutions. Last year, Technova purchased intellectual property from Quantum IP for $15 million. He highlighted the connection. Quantum IP is registered in Delaware. I pulled the corporate records. It's owned by Daniel Kramer, David's brother. The IP Technova bought was created by David when he was Technova's CTO. He spun it out to his brother's company, then bought it back with investor money. Someone in the front row swore softly. That's not all, Raymond said. Technova also pays Quantum IP $300,000 annually for consulting services. I searched for evidence of what those services are. Found nothing. No deliverables, no reports, no work product. He pulled up email evidence. Redacted but clear. I filed a FOIA request with the Delaware Secretary of State. Got the registered agent contact, called them. They confirmed Quantum IP has no employees except Daniel Kramer. No office except a P.O. box. Raymond looked around the room. David Kramer has extracted $18 million from Technova through his brother's shell company. That's investor money. Your money if this deal goes through. Going straight into his pocket. Derek was standing now. This is defamation. You can't prove... I can prove all of it, Raymond said. Every document is public record. Every call is logged. Every transaction is traceable. He nodded to Linda. She handed out folders, financial documents, public filings, phone logs. It's all here. Anyone can verify. Catherine Morrison was on her phone, typing rapidly, probably messaging her legal team. Raymond moved to his final point. Revelation 3, the pattern. New slide. A timeline. In 18 years, I've tracked 340 companies. 23 went bankrupt. I predicted all 23. He displayed a chart. Company names. Prediction dates. Actual bankruptcy dates. Theranos. Predicted collapse 12 months before it happened. WeWork. Predicted 9 months early. FTX. Predicted 14 months early. Nikola Motors. 10 months. Luckin Coffee. 7 months. He pulled up a comparison matrix. Each company had specific markers, red flags that appeared in combination. I've identified 10 key indicators. The matrix showed Technova against the historical frauds. Technova hits 8 out of 10. He walked through them. 1. Revenue growth disconnected from cash flow. Check. 2. Related party transactions with executives. Check. 3. Auditor change from major firm to small firm. Check. Technova switched from Deloitte to Hansen Associates 6 months ago. Hansen has 4 employees. 4. Insider selling is accelerating. Check. CEO and CFO have sold 67% of personal holdings. 5. Customer concentration over 70%. Check. 80% of their revenue comes from 3 clients. 6. Aggressive accounting methods. Check. The contract revenue recognition. 7. Off-balance sheet obligations exceeding 50% of reported debt. Check. 67 million in leases. 8. Negative cash flow exceeding 20% of revenue. Check. Negative 67 million against 200 million claimed revenue. He paused. The 2 markers Technova doesn't have yet are regulatory investigation and customer departure. But I have evidence that both are coming. New slide. Email screenshots. Redacted sender information. I contacted the SEC's Office of the Whistleblower. Asked if there were open investigations into Technova. They can't confirm active investigations, but they can confirm how many whistleblower complaints have been filed. He highlighted the number. 7. 7 separate whistleblower complaints filed against Technova in the past 4 months. The SEC doesn't act on every complaint, but 7 from different sources? They're looking. Final slide. More emails. And the customers. I spoke with procurement directors at Technova's 3 largest clients. 2 are initiating contract termination proceedings, breach of service claims. The 3rd is demanding a 50% price reduction. Raymond closed his notebook. Based on historical patterns, Technova will collapse within 6 to 9 months. Could be sooner. The cash burn rate suggests they have maybe 6 weeks of runway left. When those customer contracts terminate, it's over immediately. He looked at Derek. If VentureTech wires $120 million today, that money will be gone before summer. Total loss. And when Technova files bankruptcy, VentureTech will face investor lawsuits for ignoring obvious red flags. He looked at Catherine. That's my analysis. 3 revelations. Fake revenue, hidden self-dealing, pattern match to known frauds, all verifiable, all public information. Anyone could have found this. Nobody looked. Raymond sat down. The room was silent for 15 seconds. Then Catherine stood. I'm calling for an emergency vote. All board members in favor of canceling the Technova investment, raise your hands. 11 hands went up immediately. Derek stayed down. Motion carries, Catherine said. The deal is dead. Derek exploded. This is outrageous. You're killing this firm. We needed this deal. No, Linda Chen said quietly. We needed to not lose $120 million on a fraud. She looked at Raymond. Thank you, Mr. Cole. The room burst into conversation, analysts pulling out phones, board members huddling. Someone was crying. Relief, maybe. Raymond sat still. 18 years of knowing. Finally heard. Derek Ashford didn't leave quietly. He stood at the podium, face crimson, voice shaking. You're all making a catastrophic mistake. Technova is solid. This man is a janitor playing detective. You're trusting him over 6 months of professional analysis? Catherine Morrison's phone buzzed. She glanced down. Her expression changed. Derek, sit down. I will not. Sit down. Now. Something in her tone cut through his anger. He sat. Catherine stood holding her phone. I sent Raymond's analysis to Goldman's forensic team Saturday. They've been working non-stop. She looked at the room. I just received their preliminary report. They verified everything Raymond found, the revenue inflation, related party transactions, off-balance sheet debt, all confirmed. Derek's face went from red to gray. But there's more, Catherine continued. My team checked Technova's bank accounts. As of this morning, they have $8.3 million in cash. Total. For a company supposedly worth $2 billion. Someone gasped. They've been burning investor money at twice the reported rate, hidden through creative accounting with their new auditors. If we'd wired $120 million today, it would have disappeared in 3 months. No equity, no returns, gone. Derek's legs wobbled. That can't be right. Their CFO said... Catherine's phone rang. She answered the speaker. Catherine, it's James from Bloomberg. We're about to publish. The SEC just announced a formal investigation into Technova. Accounting fraud, stock manipulation. They've frozen accounts and arrested the CEO an hour ago. The room erupted. Derek collapsed into his chair. Linda Chen pulled up news feeds. Reuters, Wall Street Journal, CNBC. Same headline everywhere. Technova CEO arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. The details scrolled. FBI raid, servers seized, documents showing systematic revenue inflation, related party transactions, shell companies, everything Raymond had identified. One paragraph stood out. Industry analysts estimate actual annual revenue at approximately $70 million. Raymond had said $68 million, off by $2 million on a $200 million lie. 99% accurate. Catherine turned to Raymond. How did you know the arrest was coming? I didn't, Raymond said quietly. But 7 SEC whistleblower complaints in 4 months meant they were close. When insider selling accelerated last week, I knew executives sensed it. People run when walls close in. Derek's voice came hollow. I didn't know. I didn't see any of this. Because you didn't look, Linda said. Not cruel, factual. Raymond looked. After cleaning your office. Phones buzzed throughout the room. Technova's IPO was canceled. Private shares suspended. Early investors facing massive losses. Class action lawsuits filed. Everything collapses in real time. If VentureTech had wired the money this morning, it would be trapped in frozen accounts. Unrecoverable. Catherine stood. The meeting was adjourned. The board reconvenes in 1 hour. Derek, I need your resignation by the end of day. Derek just nodded. No fight left. People filed out slowly. Some shook Raymond's hand. Others stared. Tyler, the Wharton MBA who'd dismissed Raymond last week, approached, face red. Mr. Cole, I owe you an apology. Raymond looked at the kid who'd told him to stick to cleaning toilets. Do better next time. Read the footnotes. Tyler nodded and left. Soon only Catherine, Linda, and Raymond remained. Mr. Cole, Catherine said, job offer still stands, but I'm revising terms. $150,000, senior analyst. You start today. Linda smiled. I'd like to counter. VentureTech needs a chief risk officer. Someone who reads fine print. $170,000, equity stake. Report directly to me. Catherine laughed. Are we bidding for him? Absolutely. Raymond looked between them. 2 of the most powerful women in finance, fighting over him. A week ago, he emptied their trash. Can I think about it? Of course, both said simultaneously. Raymond picked up his leather notebook. 18 years of being invisible. Of being right and unheard. He walked to the window, looked out over Manhattan. Outside, his old cleaning cart sat by the service entrance. Someone else would use it tonight. Some other invisible person learning things nobody thought they could know. Raymond pulled out his phone, texted Alicia. Big news, call when you can. 3 dots appeared. Dad, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. Love you. He turned back to Catherine and Linda. I'll take VentureTech's offer. One condition. Name it, Linda said. We create a program, open to every employee, any level, janitors, security, mailroom. Anyone can submit investment analysis. Anyone can challenge deals. Everyone gets taken seriously. Linda extended her hand. Deal. They shook. Raymond Cole, Chief Risk Officer. The phone on the conference table rang. Linda answered. Put it on speaker. A male voice, panicked. Linda, it's Marcus from compliance. We just got a call from the FBI. They're asking about VentureTech's Technova due diligence. They want to know why we didn't invest. Linda looked at Raymond. Tell them we had better analysis than they did. Much better. She hung up. Catherine smiled. You just saved this firm twice. Once from losing $120 million, and once from an FBI investigation into why you invested in an obvious fraud. Raymond said nothing. Just watched the news feeds scroll. Technova estimated losses, $340 million. Investor casualties, 17 firms. VentureTech wasn't on that list, because a janitor read the footnotes. If you've ever been underestimated, hit subscribe. Talent doesn't need permission, just an audience. 2 days later, VentureTech held an all-hands meeting. 200 employees packed the auditorium. Linda Chen stood at the podium. Behind her, headlines showed Technova's collapse. CEO in handcuffs. Total fraud. $400 million across 17 firms. VentureTech wasn't on the victim list. We avoided this, Linda said, because one person did the work nobody else would. Read documents nobody else read. Had courage to speak when everyone told him to stay quiet. She gestured to Raymond in the front row. Raymond Cole saved this firm. Saved your jobs. Saved our reputation. The applause started slow, then built to a standing ovation. Raymond stood awkwardly, not used to being seen. Effective immediately, Linda continued. Raymond is our chief risk officer. $170,000 annually, 5% equity, office on floor 43. More applause. Raymond made one condition for accepting. I'd like him to explain. Raymond walked to the podium, looked at 200 faces. I want to create the Open Analysis Initiative, he said. A slide appeared. Simple bullets. Every employee, any position can submit an investment analysis. Janitors, security, receptionists, everyone. Next slide. Submissions are anonymous, reviewed by committee, not based on who you are, based on whether you're right. Final slide. Correct analysis that saves money earns $10,000, plus recognition, plus opportunity to join the investment team. He paused. I was invisible for 18 years. I don't want anyone else feeling invisible here. Talent exists everywhere. We just have to look. The applause was deafening. After the meeting, Linda led Raymond to floor 43, corner office, windows overlooking Manhattan, desk with a brass nameplate. Raymond Cole, Chief Risk Officer. Your team starts Monday, Linda said. 3 analysts. You pick them. Raymond set his leather notebook on the desk. 18 years, finally had a home. One more thing. Linda handed him an envelope. Inside, a check. $50,000. Retroactive bonus, she explained, for every warning we ignored. Cloud Max, Crypto Vault, NeuralSoft. If we'd listened, we'd have saved $85 million. This is the least we owe. She handed him a second envelope. A letter from the board. Formal apology for 18 years of dismissal. Signed by all 12 members. Raymond's throat tightened. You deserved better, Linda said. We're sorry. We'll do better. She left. Raymond sat in his chair, looked out at Manhattan, the city where he'd been invisible. Not anymore. The VentureTech board met in an emergency session 48 hours after the Technova arrest. Catherine Morrison attended remotely from Goldman Sachs. The investigation was swift and damning. Derek Ashford had ignored 12 documented warnings about risky investments over 3 years. Total losses directly attributable to ignored red flags. $87 million. Worse, they found the kickback. $2 million from Technova paid to a consulting LLC Derek owned. Payment made 3 weeks before he recommended the investment. Conflict of interest, breach of fiduciary duty, potentially criminal. The board voted unanimously. Derek was terminated as CEO, banned from any executive role in the firm. His equity stake was reduced to 0. The SEC opened their own investigation. Derek hired lawyers, expensive ones. But the legal consequences were just the beginning. Derek's name became synonymous with the Technova scandal. Every article about the fraud mentioned venture tech almost invested. And why didn't they? Because a janitor was smarter than the CEO. That line appeared in the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Bloomberg, Financial Times. Derek's phone stopped ringing. Recruiters who'd courted him for years went silent. Board positions he'd been offered quietly evaporated. He applied to 3 hedge funds. All passed. He applied to 2 private equity firms. Both declined. Finally, 6 months later, he found work. Junior portfolio manager at a small investment firm in Connecticut. Salary $120,000, a fraction of his previous $850,000. His new office overlooked a parking lot. The firm's managing partner made one thing clear. You're here because you're cheap and you have contacts, but you don't make decisions anymore. You execute what others decide. Understood? Derek understood. Meanwhile, venture tech transformed. Linda Chen took over as CEO. Her first act, implementing Raymond's open analysis initiative. The results were immediate and stunning. First month, 127 submissions. From receptionists, IT staff, security guards, administrative assistants. People who'd been invisible. 18 submissions identified genuine risks the investment team had missed. One came from Marie, a receptionist who'd worked at venture tech 11 years. She'd overheard investor calls while transferring lines, noticed pattern of one venture firm always calling their portfolio companies right before those companies requested more funding. She submitted an analysis suggesting the firm was propping up failing companies artificially. Raymond's team investigated. Marie was right. Venture tech pulled out of 3 deals with that firm, avoided an estimated $34 million in losses. Marie received her $10,000 bonus and a job offer to join the analyst team. She accepted. Another submission came from James, overnight security. He'd noticed patterns in after-hours building access. Executives from one startup coming in at 2 a.m. regularly. Seemed odd. Investigation revealed the startup's AI technology was actually humans working overnight to fake AI performance. Venture tech avoided that investment, saved $12 million. James got his bonus, declined the analyst position, but he started taking night classes in finance. Raymond wrote him a recommendation letter. The cultural shift went deeper. Venture tech established mandatory anti-bias training, revised hiring policies to accept experience equivalent to degree for all positions. 3 maintenance staff enrolled in company-sponsored finance courses. Raymond mentored them personally. The firm's performance improved dramatically. With real vetting, careful analysis, and voices from unexpected places, their investment accuracy increased 42%. Industry publications took notice. Articles praised venture tech's innovative approach. Their fund attracted new investors specifically because of the Open Analysis Initiative. Derek saw all of it from Connecticut. His new firm subscribed to all the financial publications. Every week, another article about venture tech's transformation, about Raymond's promotion, about the janitor-turned-executive who revolutionized venture capital. Derek's new boss mentioned it once. "That's your old firm, right? The one with the genius janitor you guys had? Man, you must feel stupid missing that." Derek said nothing. At night, alone in his small apartment, he'd sold the Tribeca penthouse to pay legal fees. Derek sometimes pulled up Raymond's LinkedIn profile. Chief Risk Officer. Speaking engagements at Wharton and Harvard. Profile in Fortune magazine. Advisory role at the SEC. The man Derek had humiliated was now advising the agency investigating Derek. Poetics didn't begin to cover it. Derek never apologized. Pride wouldn't let him. But he did change how he worked. Started reading footnotes, listening to junior staff, checking his assumptions. Not redemption, not yet. But maybe the beginning of understanding that the smartest person in the room isn't always the one with the corner office. Sometimes they're the one emptying your trash. 1 year later. Raymond's office on the 43rd floor had changed. The walls now held framed photos. His daughter Alicia's MIT graduation, the Forbes magazine cover featuring his story, a picture of Samuel, his old mentor who'd passed away but whose lessons lived on. The leather notebook sat in a glass case in Venture Tech's lobby, museum style. The plaque read, "Where Great Ideas Come From, Raymond Cole's 18-year journey." Alicia joined Venture Tech as a junior analyst, father and daughter working together, building something better. The Open Analysis Initiative had expanded to 12 other firms. An industry movement. #Justice for Invisible Talent trended on LinkedIn. Raymond still arrived early, not to clean, because he loved the work. And on his desk, a new photo. Raymond shaking hands with the SEC chairman, receiving an award for fraud prevention, the janitor who saw what nobody else would see. Here's my question for you. Who's the underestimated genius in your workplace? The person everyone ignores who might be seeing what you're missing? Drop a comment, share their story, and if you've ever been that invisible person, this one's for you. Hit subscribe. Your voice matters. Your observations matter. There's a detail at the beginning only sharp-eyed viewers caught. Go back and watch how Raymond's hands moved when he first saw those Technova numbers. He knew instantly. Talent doesn't wait for permission. It just waits to be heard.